What if I told you that right now, a military officer in Tanzania has vanished after publicly accusing his own president of corruption, election fraud, and even murder? What if that accusation could ignite the biggest political scandal East Africa has seen in decades? Stay with me, because what's unfolding right now could change everything you thought you knew about Tanzania's democracy. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story is being silenced in the mainstream, and we're one of the few who dare to tell it. It's October 4th, 2025. A quiet Saturday afternoon in Tanzania suddenly explodes across social media. A man in military uniform goes live on camera. Calm, direct, and shaking with anger, he says, "Your government is stealing from you, and if we don't stop them, this nation will collapse." His name is Captain John Charles Taisha, a weapons instructor in the Tanzanian Air Force. Within hours, the video spreads like wildfire. TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp groups across East Africa lighting up with his face. The government scrambles to delete it, but it's too late. By nightfall, Taisha's video has been watched millions of times. 2 days later, the Air Force announces he's been discharged. His location, unknown. Rumors say he's been detained in a secret facility. Others believe he's fled the country. But the question is, why did he risk everything? Why did a loyal officer throw away his entire career, his safety, his life? To answer that, you need to understand her. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the first female president in Tanzania's history. When she rose to power in March 2021, after the sudden death of President John Magufuli, she was celebrated as a symbol of hope. Western media praised her as the woman who would bring democracy back. Tanzanians believed she'd be different, softer, fairer, more open. But today, that image has shattered. And the deeper you look, the darker it gets. Let's rewind. March 2021. The country wakes up to shocking news. President John Magufuli is dead. The official story says heart failure, but many suspect it was COVID-19. Ironic, since Magufuli spent months denying the virus even existed. Magufuli was controversial, loved by some, feared by others. He was nicknamed the bulldozer because he tore through corruption and foreign interference. He fought the IMF, built infrastructure, renegotiated mining contracts, and told Western corporations that Tanzania would no longer be their playground. But he also jailed journalists, banned opposition rallies, and turned the media into state propaganda. He ruled hard, but he ruled for Tanzania. So when he died, it left a vacuum that no one was ready to fill. Then came Samia Suluhu Hassan, a 61-year-old woman from Zanzibar, soft-spoken, but politically sharp. She promised reform. She lifted media bans, released political prisoners, and acknowledged COVID was real. The world clapped. Tanzania, it seemed, was stepping into a new era. But what the world didn't see was that Samia didn't just inherit the presidency. She inherited the most powerful political machine in East Africa. CCM, Chama cha Mapinduzi, the Party of the Revolution, the same party that has ruled Tanzania since 1977. That's almost half a century of one-party dominance. Every president, every parliament, every major decision, controlled by CCM. Elections happen, but CCM always wins. And in that system, power isn't earned by vision. It's traded in loyalty. Around Samia sit men who've survived every regime, retired generals, former presidents, wealthy businessmen, the untouchables. They don't want change. They want control. And Samia had a choice. Confront them and lose power, or join them and keep it. She chose to keep it. The woman who promised democracy became the face of the same old system. Her early reforms slowed in 2022. By 2023, they stopped completely. And by 2024, Tanzania was right back where it started. Fear, censorship, and silence. That's when the disappearances began. Opposition leaders, journalists, activists, people just vanishing. The Tanganyika Law Society documented 83 disappearances in less than a year. People like Dion Keeper, a local opposition organizer, taken by men claiming to be police, never seen again. Jacob Godwin and Dayet Soa, young activists, abducted on the same day. A motorcycle taxi driver who witnessed it, also gone. Then came the murder that shook the nation. Ali Kibao, a senior member of the Chadema opposition party, abducted in daylight while traveling by bus. 2 days later, his body found dumped by the shore. Beaten, tortured, acid poured on his face. That's when everyone realized no one is safe. Even the media couldn't tell the truth. When the Citizen newspaper released a satirical animated video showing a cartoon president flipping through TV channels of families searching for their missing loved ones, the government banned the entire outlet, not just their video, their website, their social media, everything. The official reason? Threatening national unity. But the truth was simple. They exposed what everyone was afraid to say. Behind the smiling image of Tanzania's first female president was a regime built on intimidation and silence. And yet, the government called anyone who criticized her a misogynist, accusing them of hating women in power. It became a convenient shield. But critics pushed back. Dictatorship isn't about gender. It's about power. And power, in Tanzania, has become absolute. Let's talk about the man the regime fears most, Tundu Lissu, opposition leader, lawyer, survivor. In 2017, he was shot 16 times outside Parliament. He survived. After years of recovery and exile, he returned in 2023 to rebuild the opposition. He was arrested again, charged with treason for giving a speech calling for electoral reform. His trial has been postponed 5 times. He's still behind bars today. Why? Because Tanzania's next election is just days away, and the government can't risk letting him run. International lawyers tried to defend him. Kenya's former Chief Justice, Willy Mutunga, activist Boniface Mwangi, and others flew to Dar es Salaam to observe his trial. The government detained and deported them at the airport. President Samia accused them of foreign interference. It's the oldest play in the authoritarian handbook. Silence the press, jail the opposition, call everyone else outsiders. But then came the moment that broke the silence. Captain Tesha's viral video. A soldier standing in uniform, on camera, saying what millions were too afraid to say. This government is corrupt, and it must go. He accused the president, former President Jakaya Kikwete, and billionaire businessman Rostam Aziz, calling them the deep state. He listed scandal after scandal. The Richmond energy fraud, the escrow fund theft, mining deals sold cheap to cronies. And then he demanded action, dissolve the government, cancel the election, and investigate Magufuli's mysterious death. He said Magufuli was a patriot, and that those in power betrayed him. For many Tanzanians, Tesha became a symbol, a man willing to lose everything for truth. And he's not alone. Just days after his video, John Heche, deputy chairman of the opposition, was detained at the Kenya-Tanzania border while trying to attend Raila Odinga's funeral. No explanation. He started live streaming the incident, and within hours, hundreds of young people from both Kenya and Tanzania gathered outside. Peaceful, determined, with cameras rolling. 6 hours later, the government backed down and released him. The message was clear. When people unite, when the world is watching, even dictators hesitate. But here's where the story turns darker. The upcoming election, October 29th, 2025, is already being called a farce. The main opposition leader is in jail. Smaller parties are government-controlled puppets. CCM billboards flood the streets. Analysts predict another 99% victory, just like the local elections last year. Independent observers have already warned this won't be free or fair, but the regime doesn't care. Because for them, democracy is no longer a choice. It's a performance. And here's the tragedy. For decades, Tanzania stood apart in East Africa. While neighbors fell into coups and civil wars, Tanzania stayed peaceful, stable, proud. But peace without freedom isn't peace. It's paralysis. And stability built on silence always cracks. Captain Tesha's disappearance, the opposition arrests, the media blackout. These are symptoms of a democracy on life support. Yet the world stays quiet, afraid to criticize a female leader for fear of appearing sexist. But history won't judge Samia Suluhu Hassan by her gender. It'll judge her by what she did with power when she had the chance to lead with integrity. So as Tanzania heads into its most controversial election in decades, one thing is clear: the people are watching. The youth have cameras. The world has eyes. And even the most powerful regime can't erase truth forever, because truth spreads faster than fear. And courage, once ignited, doesn't die. If you've watched this far, you're part of that courage. Share this story. Let the world see what's happening. Don't let silence win. And remember, subscribe to Brit Alert News for more fearless investigations and updates on this unfolding election scandal. Because the more they try to hide, the louder we'll become. This isn't just news. It's history in motion. And history, no matter how long it's suppressed, always finds a voice.